Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope.
The sun is hot, the breeze is low. I need a ride. Where do I go? Ride, go, yeah. That's the name. Island roads will never feel the same. Tap the app, just one click. Hopping fast, it's real quick. Right, go where you wanna go. To the beach, to the street, let the island flow. Right, go, let the good vibes show. Fastest growing ride, everybody know.
Tuk Tuk now available on Ride Go. Book now.
Ride along live, worldwide.
Ride along live. Welcome to the ride. Yes, welcome to the ride. Let me tell you something. It's determination, it's love, it's appreciation, it's everything. Everything that caused me to be here today. It's true love, because let me tell you something. Since I moved into this new makeshift studio area, there's been one problem after the next. Internet issues, power problems, just non-stop issues, right? And so I had to do all kind of things. You see, I was running kind of late because I had to do all kind of things to facilitate the program today. Yesterday was another thing. The guest didn't show up. It was just crazy. So it's determination, it's love, it's all of the above that makes you guys. Yes. So as you guys come and do me a favor, share the thing. We have a nice conversation for you here today. Interesting. If you can hear me and see me fine, just give me a quick thumbs up, guys. Let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that you can see me. Let me know that everything. Yeah, put the thumbs up right there. Let me know. Let me know. Avery Taylor, how you doing? Get yourself. Thank you so much. Shema, how you doing? Nice. We have Kennedy Lal on the program today, and today Kennedy is pissed. Yeah. Well, Kennedy's always smiling, but he has a lot to say today, guys. Lord have his mercy. I'm thinking I need about 5 disclaimers for Kennedy. Let's see how that works out. Everything good? Yeah, we're on YouTube as well. We're on YouTube and Facebook. We're all over TikTok. We're everywhere. But before I get Kennedy, did you miss me? Did you guys miss me? Was last week? Yesterday, you guys didn't see me. Nobody put out an APB on me. Nobody went and asked the ID to investigate where I am. Nobody, put out a wanted permanent note on Facebook. I didn't feel the love. I did not feel the love. I figured that somebody would have put out something. Huh? But nobody did. Nonetheless, guys, I am here and I'm happy to be here on the ride. And if the internet holds up, power holds up, if everything holds up well, we would have a great conversation. My next guest is not a stranger to the program. The last time he been on the program, everything shook up. He shook up the place. He broke the internet. People are still using clips from his interview, his last interview, as memes, like all over. He's that kind of figure. He's that kind of personality. Today we're going to be speaking about a number of things. We're going to be speaking about the current administration and how we feel things running right now. We're going to talk about, there have been very requests, right, from the U.S. Kennedy being someone with a military background, he kind of understands a little bit. He's going to talk to us about that. He's going to talk to us about the state of the political climate in Grenada right now. We're going to even talk about the Farah Pierre interview. We had part one, and then I heard that they had part two. I didn't get to see it, but I heard that the two. He has a take on that as well. So Kennedy is here to disrupt, right? So don't fall off your seat. Don't fall off your seat. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. So let's not waste any longer because I don't know how much more info, I don't know how much time I have. So let's bring on the man himself, disruptor, Kennedy Boudlal. And let me also say, guys, the disclaimer is still in effect. I don't know if you're going to need it today, guys. I don't know if you're going to need the disclaimer today. Kennedy, will I need the disclaimer today, sir?
I don't think so.
Okay, all
It's
right.
going to be controversial, but I don't think you need it. But for safety, you put it on. You don't know who toes I might match, I might step on, so you do the disclaimer.
Okay. Program here today by our guest is solely that of the guests and not of Ridealong Live. It's affiliate and sponsors, right? It's that of Kennedy Boudlal. So what you been up to, Kennedy? It's been how much? It's been like about 2 months? 3 months.
A long time.
2 months. Good.
3 months, that's a long time, but that's okay.
Yeah. So how you been? What you been up to?
I'm good, I'm good. I mean, doing some political work for the movement, which is my party.
Right.
We're hoping to launch on the 16th,
Okay. Interesting. We go
God's bless.
We go talk about that. We're going to talk about that. But last time you've been here, Kennedy, was an incident that same night, right? And you said a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You said a lot of stuff. And I'm happy to say, nothing fatal. The former prime minister was okay. People said that you spoke so much and the things that you said sent tremors straight to social media. What happened after you came off the program last time around? Did you get any response from all the bruising allegation that you put out there?
Boy, strange, nothing. A lot of my friends, some of them upset with me for saying what I said, but they know it is true, but they feel I shouldn't be saying certain things. I disagree with them. I feel the Grenadian public is being denied of the truth for so long, and a lot of things happen in this country, and attempt is being made by a lot of people to distort the real truth, the history of this country. So somebody have to bring it out. And I prepare to bring it out anytime on your program. So what I said, nobody don't say anything to me. I think they understand that what I say is the truth, but if some people feel I should not air it in the public.
Right. Well, what about before you came on, interrogated by the RGPF about something that you posted on social media? And again, you came on the program and you said it. You said it as the roughest and toughest way that you could have. You said everything that you wrote on social media. You confirm it. So I'm thinking after that, you would have either been sued or locked up in some prison somewhere. That was my thoughts.
No. this thing that are natural death. I don't think they wanted this thing to be in the public domain any longer, so they all just drop it and allow it to die a natural death. I don't think it was in their interest to prolong this thing, so it just die a natural death.
Okay.
And I prepare to leave it there. They prepare to leave it there, and we all move on with our life.
Okay, understood. So let's talk about political now. I know you've been monitoring, paying attention to what's happening with the current administration. You've been, I haven't seen much comment on social media, but I know you've been in the background pushing some knobs. What do you think about the current administration and the progress of the current administration? Are they making an impact? What's your thoughts?
I will say not much, there is no doubt the government, the present administration, the government is stable. Grenada is relatively a peaceful place, but there is only two mirror in the NDC, the Prime Minister and Andy Williams. Outside of that, the other members are very lazy, and ineffective. So the NDC have some work to do. Those guys either step up or they could lose power easily in the next election, because you cannot have two mirror. And if you look at it, the opposition is very smart. The people who get in the biggest attack is Andy and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, because you have Francis Pierre ponging night and day at Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, and you have the lady in the south ponging Andy night and day. So they realize if they crack these two mirrors, they could really topple, cause problem for the NDC. But the NDC have to careful they not allow Miss Jenny Simon to control the narrative. I don't satisfy the handling that properly, because if you've been accused, for wrongdoing, corruption, you're supposed to debunk it. Come out and say, Jenny, this is not true. Where is the evidence? But keeping silence, you allow too much people to speculate, and you have to be careful. A lot of company unravel, political parties unravel when the people perceive you are corrupt and you're incompetent. So that is NDC problem. They have to deal with that. Otherwise, the public hearing, hey, look, corruption right through, and you're dealing with it. The Prime Minister should address those issues. When people accuse your government for using the GDP as a supermarket, shopping center for your parliament, for your members of parliament and political crony, you have to address it. You can't just ignore it, because that is in the public domain.
Yeah, but how much of an impact do you think that program is actually making? That Simon program. Do you think that it's touching and it really actually changing?
Here the danger of it. Here the danger of that program. Here the danger. It may not affect the NDC base, but the NDC base alone cannot win election. What's about the independent-minded people? If you understand, people voted Tillman Thomas in office, not because they believe Tillman is competent, because they make sure Tillman is there as a big watchman to make sure people don't thief. You understand?
Right.
That corruption is what Grenadians don't like. And there is 2,000 people in this country who don't care much about NNP, don't care much about NDC, but just want Grenada to be a better place. Jenny is speaking to that 2,000 people, not the NDC base. She could say what she wants. The NDC base won't bother. Francis Pierre could say what you want. You know, the NDC base wouldn't bother. But they speaking to that fences, that independent-minded group. So you can ignore them. You cannot ignore them. You cannot demonstrate a level of arrogance and say, too bad, man, they could say what they want. No, these are the voters that will determine the next election. If you look at the political landscape, almost split right down the center. No politician to win by big margin, 200, 300 vote. You understand? It's a 2,000 vote that determine the election. So they are ponging it, Andy. And to be truthful, in my opinion, you don't do much wrong, no wrong thing, because there is a Ridealong is an unwritten agreement between these political parties. When they want assistance, they go to businessmen and they go to investors who they give, concession. They can come to me and you. Wagiti taking $80,000 for a big stage. How would political party generate finance to rent stage? The middle stage is 40, small 120. You think they could raise funds? You think they could, what amount of funds they could raise? You think they could fry breadfruit and chicken to raise that 80,000? How much breadfruit they go fry? How much chicken they fry?
Let me ask you a question, KB, about that. I don't want to move too far away from the narrative because I want to get to that. But do you think that what is being said, is it necessary that it be true or because a lot of things, or let me ask you this way: do you think that the allegations that was brought out by the Simon program, do you think that it is actually true, or there was any wrongdoing that could have been found within allegations?
I don't believe there is any wrongdoing, but the point, politics is not what is true or false, but what people perceive. And if they're hearing it all the time, people go perceive it is true. Because here, the same person, Jenny accusing Andy for receiving money from, this person always give NNP hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is my problem, The same man, the same man usually give NNP hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what she accusing Andy for getting is peanuts, and he should go back for more because he control the quarry, control the hot mix plant. He make millions from the government. So if anybody want assistance, they have to go to he, not me. It's an unwritten agreement. You see, you can't co-KI this thing, because look at the problem with the Polish businessman. $180,000, $280,000 US dollars supposed to the government treasury. Half end up in the NNP account in the south. So you can co-KI the thing and pointing at Andy all the time. And when that happening with all political parties, they take money from investors to run the political campaign. What you think the Trinidad company gets all those federal contract and end up billing at $3 million for the boss concubine? How you think they start at $3 million for the boss concubine? God bless, they lose the election, the house stall. Maybe they wait until the election come again to continue the house. You understand? But it's a kind of unwritten agreement by these political parties. When they need assistance for the campaign or assistance for the constituency, they go to businessmen who they do favor, who they give favor, or investors who they give favor. They can raise funds. Is not, this thing is so commercialized. How you getting money to run your campaign? Why are you taking $80,000 for those big massive stage? You think you could buy fry breadfruit or fried chicken to raise funds? How much breadfruit you go fry? How much chicken you go fry? It's a fact. So it's an unwritten agreement between both of them. So I don't see Andy commit no kind of big crime. They ponging Andy. But it is important. If NDC cannot allow her to control the narrative. You understand? Because she would start because she extremely bitter.
Mhm.
I've never seen Jenny so bitter, experience so bitter. I don't know if he's cheating too much Carla or what, but it's I've never seen a woman so bitter in my life. You know, even when we all were in NDC together, right? She always bitter towards Peter David because we all knew her favorite was Nazim Bok.
Mhm.
Her role was to build an organization inside of NDC to promote and work for Nazim Bok because they all said Nazim Bok cannot fight for themselves. So Jenny spearhead that fight. So it's whenever Peter stand in Nazim way, so she will never forgive Peter David. And now the NDC don't have Peter at a high level, don't have Nazim at that high level where she wants. She cursing NDC right through. She will never stop cursing NDC and Peter David because her role and objective was to make Nazim the prime minister of this country. And in her opinion, when Peter left, it affect Nazim chances. So she will never forgive Peter. Before the thing start, I went to Tilo and I said, Tilo, listen to me. You see that internal feud in this party between the Nazim and Peter, stay out of that. That is not your business. You as the leader, stay above the fray. Let both sides complain to you. If you take side, clickism will develop in NDC and split it right down the center. It will be the worst blunder of your political career. You say, KB, I will not take side. I cannot take side. How we end up on Nazim Bok's side, Papa God alone that know. Jenny and them take the man and bring him all about in Mount St. Taverns and pray. Some of them went up there with the black chaplain and pray and tie up Uncle Tilo and make Tilo believe, well, Peter is the enemy and turn on Peter. You know, follow Jenny Simon, you know, and I want Tilo, I said, Tilo, those who giving you advice, those like Glenwell and these guys and them that put you in jail. We that go in jail with you, you're not listening to us. Who put you in jail? You listening to him. I go here. I say you don't understand understand political intrigues. NDC get 15 twice. After he lose, he coming by me. KB, what happened? I say, what happening? I didn't want you to win a seat. I go in jail with you, you're not listening to me. Who put you in jail? You're listening to them. Look what happened. You follow Jenny Simon, Rick Tillman, all about in Mount St. Evans to pray. Some of them go up there with a black chaplain, even telling Tilo and prayers. Look at what they do, Tilo. The same thing now she come in NNP. The same attack. The same attack. Because she's spitting fire night and day. She hate NDC because her friend Nazim don't rise. She hate Peter David. It prevent Nazim from rising. That is her role. Everybody in NDC know. That is Jenny's role. Because I've never, last time I see Uncle Tilly, I say, oh, I wonder if it's not the same Jenny that used to so in Uncle Tilly is. Look at Jenny now. Attacking left, right, and center like Andy do the worst thing. But it's something that always happen. They always collect money from businessmen, NNP doing it, NDC doing it. She can't cocky the thing. She should never cocky the thing. If she pointing out corruption, point up corruption all over. Point out corruption with the Polish businessman who saw you sell the man a passport and what make it bad? There was a red-skinned businessman in the South. He get 10,000 US out of that and pushing the packet, you know. But they don't call in him because he's a big businessman. They don't want to scandalize in it. You understand? But the 140,000 US supposed to be in the government treasury, he end up in NNP bank account. But Jenny don't talking about that is no corruption. She only done Andy. You understand? Jenny can cocky the thing. How she don't see the $3 million house the Trinidad company was building for the boss concubine? How she do that? Mando's plan, but Papa God is the best of our planners. Maybe Papa God that caused NNP to lose the election, the house stall. Maybe they waiting till if NNP come back in power again to continue the house. You understand? But they cannot point out corruption on one side. If you're pointing out corruption, point it out. Don't cookie anything. But the government have a lot of work to do. They need to answer. You can have people calling you out for corruption and saying, hey, you using the Grenada Development Bank as a supermarket for your political crony, and you don't say nothing. You don't answer in back. Or you could answer back. If she
But
controlling,
but is it if something is not true, like Simon said a whole bunch of things about me too, right? She said, I remember when I launched e-bike, I don't know if you remember, she did a whole program about how e-bike will catch a fire from under you. She did a whole, let me tell you something. Before I started business, her intention was to capsize my business, right? And I don't know where that bitterness came from because I never said more than 2 words to the lady. So I don't know how I get into the thing, right? So I never responded because to me it was laughable, it was stupid. I hear people said about when after I launched the Tok, people say, the Tok go flip over with people. I had it over here, nothing happened. So if it makes no sense, Kennedy, if it's actually dotish listening to it, why would you even want to respond to dotishness? It's stupid.
so I spoke to people who close to the prime minister. And I said, look, you cannot have somebody making that allegation against your parliamentary representative and don't say nothing. And what was said to me, KB, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell don't want to reduce himself to Jenny level. And I say, I disagree with that. You have to come out or get your political activists say, look, Jenny, you're telling lies, come with the facts. But the worst thing is to don't say nothing. Once you don't say anything, it will cause people to speculate. Empire unravel when people perceive the leaders are corrupt and they are incompetent. That is the problem. You don't let her get away with it and continue saying it over and over and over. And they don't do enough to debunk it, So they have to be careful. Although I cannot put my hand now and say which political party will win the next election. I can't say it now because it kind of fluid. I can't say I know the movement will get seat because they have seat. I know NDC will get seat because they have seat. And I know NNP will get seat because they have seat. But to point out now to say who, and I will still give NDC the lead because they are 10 seats in parliament. We can't say they behind, except you get new data, so you could say, well, yes, based on the data, they're behind. But now they're in front, but they have to be careful and don't start behaving as though they're invincible and behaving as though they're not accountable to the people of this country. Right now, there is not I don't think the Grenadian people in any panic mode, but the concern of what is taking place between Venezuela, the United States, and Grenada, waiting for an answer. They concern, they're not in panic mode. In every rum shop, on every bus, every street corner, every home, that is being discussed because they're concerned of what might be the impact, whether it be negative or positive, based on the decision this government take. And we're not hearing nothing from the government, no update to say, all right, we're dealing with it, we're taking with time because it's a complicated issue. None at all. The public is being ignored. And that is the problem. I have so much respect for Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell. The way he deport himself on national television, he looked very honorable. You understand? And I have respect for him because he don't involve in no kind of scandal. He don't look as a man that will victimize people or want to share any blood. But he can't keep silent. No, Once you start keeping silence and you behaving as you ignoring the gradient people, you can cultivate a culture of ignore. Important issue. People want to know what is your position. Give us an update. Tell us you don't ready yet because that complicated issue. You're taking your time. You're consulting Caribbean leaders. You're consulting different stakeholders in the society. But you can't do say nothing and ignore us as if we are nobody.
Right. I want to
No, you
get to
can't
that.
do
I,
so.
I want to get to that, but I want to go back a little bit to the NDC leadership, right? Because we spoke a bit about it after the convention, and Emily Pierre became the opposition, the leader of the party, and then the opposition leader. Do you think at that point in time, people were saying there was a lot of weakness in the party? The party was crumbling shortly after that Peter David left. Do you think that they gathered or garnered any momentum anytime thereafter? Did they get any strength from anywhere?
I don't think so. I think the NNP is still trying to recuperate, and mobilize their support. But I don't think they're making that kind of impact. I think they're trying to regroup, but I don't see no path to our NNP victory as yet. Because let's take the parish of St. George. How much seat do you think the NNP could win in the parish of St. George? Do you think they could defeat Andy in the South? Do you think they could defeat Redhead? Do you think they could defeat Peter David? Well, I think they could always win Dr. Mitchell's seat.
Right.
Telescore's seat is always questionable because he's a lazy candidate. But also, Gregory Boyne is a lazy candidate. Gregory Boyne lose every polling station in that South. So it's a area that up for grab. You understand? The movement have a strong candidate. They could do well. The NDC have a strong candidate. They could do well. NNP, it's up for grab. What you have there is a bunch of weak candidates. So there is only one seat you could say that is safe for the NNP in the parish of St. George. I think they will be able to pull off Victoria seat. I believe Gabriel could win Guab seat because of the narrow margin, and I don't believe the young lady making that kind of impact. Because once the mood and the swing not in NDC favor, Gabriel could win that seat. But the problem with NNP is in St. Patrick's East and West. Those constituencies divide so much between the movement, between NNP, between NDC, between Boeing, between even Winty Frederick, the second, who get close to 100 and something vote. It's so divided up. It is unpredictable. It's close it in St. Patrick's. In St. Andrews, I believe Delma Tamas go win that it.
Okay.
In St. Patrick's East, in St. Andrews Northeast, in my opinion, although Skita is under a lot of pressure, but you have to still believe she's in front. But she had to be careful because I convinced she continued to lose a lot of ground to the movement in that constituency. But the NDC is divided so bad in that constituency, split right down the center. It give the sitting parliamentarian an edge. But the movement is doing very well in that constituency. Now in Delma, in the MNP constituency, she have to work hard to hold. She's still in front. I will still give them that seat. So that make them 5. But they have problem in getting an extra 3. You understand? In St. Andrews, Southwest,
sorry, yes.
Southwest in Yulan Bin. Well, the worst parliamentarian he have is toes. I don't know if it's because he have a tie behind his back. He just don't connecting with nobody. I don't hear one MDC say toes go in that seat. It's an opposite. Not even those political activists for the MDC. they believe Toes will lose that seat. As to who, I don't know, but I know the movement have a strong candidate, which we don't want to expose as yet. And the young lady, the NNP have there in Amanda Japal, she really not from the constituency and she virtually unknown. So she have a lot of work to do. As who they're going to replace Toes or they will continue Toes, I don't know. But I think he's the worst candidate in the island.
I want to go
I
back to
think so.
I want to go back to St. John, right? Because your projection is that Dabrio could put up a fight there against Karine. What is Dabrio's strength from your vantage point? What is his strength?
Well, I think his Bob Dabro is a popular guy and he's a wealthy guy. He can use his finance to fortify himself, you know, and he could buy his way too. And on that western corridor, look at it, you know, is always strength is Dr. Mitchell's strength, you know, Clarice Mode's strength. And that is one of the stronghold of the NNP on that western corridor, you know. And if you look at W, did not lose by much, just a handful of votes. And the mood and the swing in the country was NDC at the time. Now, if the mood and the swing is not NDC, they could lose that seat. It depends on the mood and the swing. The swing, that election was NDC. So Kevin just tipped over and beat Dabrio by maybe less than a dozen votes. And she as incumbent, she have to perform. She have to show that she perform better than Dabrio. So
Yeah.
that's why I say if you look at it, you're looking as though a 5 for the NNP, 5 for the NDC, at least you could say 1 for the movement, Big Peter David in government, right? So you have at least 5 and 5, 10 and 1, 11. It's 15. So you have at least four seats that up for grab. Now, in Carriacou, you know, I look at the poll, look at somebody prediction by on the newspaper the last time, we say Kevin could be in trouble. But the thing about Kevin Andrew, he's a hard worker. That is the problem. He could always pull back, even so he falls short. He's a hard worker. So Cox will have to work hard to catch up with him. Kevin, you could say what you about Kevin Andrew. He is a hard worker. So that will help you, but all the political parties have to step up, you know, and work hard. People anticipate he may not have no outright victory. He might have a coalition. I don't know. It depends on the mood. It depends on the swing. But the NDC have a lot of work to do. The movement have a lot of work to do. And the NNP have a lot of work to do.
So let me ask you a question. I know that you said that the movement has some strong candidates. You not is waiting on the launch. I can understand that. But who and the timing, would it have sufficient time for the movement to build that momentum with a new candidate or someone? Well, we don't know who they is. We don't know if they've been in government before. We don't know if it's totally new candidate or that's coming into the fore. But would they have sufficient time?
I feel so. I feel so because the younger generation, I don't feel their loyalty to no political party. Yes, the NDC had a base, the NNP had a base. But this younger generation, they don't have no loyalty to no political party. They don't have loyalty. And therefore that gives the movement. I've been to a few movement meetings and I've seen all kind of people in their meeting. I've seen NDC and a shock. I've been seeing it. For instance, There is one sister who I could call she name because she open out, declare herself she running already. Sister Pamela Williams, that is Cheryl Williams' sister. She's a potential candidate for the movement. And I attend a few meeting. And I see couple NDC who I never thought was going to end up in the movement. Couple NNP who I never thought. And I say, how you manage to get that girl? And she say, KB, they come to me, I don't go to them. They come to me. You understand? So both political parties have to pull up because the movement will eat into some of them base as to how bad, how much the movement will cannibalize the base. I don't know. It's early days, but I've seen quite a few people from different political party into the movement. How much? It's early days. But interesting, because while the NNP, there is no doubt you cannot rule out the NNP because they could regroup. Neither I intend to rule out the NDC. You understand? Because they shocked everybody last election. You understand? But they have to be careful because there is a talk on the ground the NDC have to be careful with. Boy, KB, the money don't reaching on the ground, The money don't reaching on the ground. And that is a message. Because as one man tell me, KB, hey, the politician get an increase of more than 100%. They $14,000. The police officer get an extra 700. Doctors get 1,000. Nurses get 500. You understand? Civil servant who get the pension and so on. Everybody get. Farmers get. How much the poor man get? People asking that question. How much the poor man get? Everybody get a raise except the ordinary man on the street. How much he get? They asking questions. You see, it's not as before. The politics get so funny. It's not as before. When you see a house, you could say that is an NNP house or that is an NDC house. No. The young people have their own mind, their own trend of thought. They're making their own decision. So that is why polls always wrong. You have to do it scientific. Otherwise, you get it wrong all the time. You can guess. Yeah. You can guess. And
KB, one of the constituents you left out.
That is
David. St. David.
No, I don't think you have no match for Prime Minister Deacon. It's like somebody saying, "Boy, I feel Kit Mitchell will lose the seat this time. I believe Clarice Modest will lose the seat this time. I believe Peter David will lose the seat this time." You could believe Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell could lose that seat. And I wishful thinking. They will make impact. They will be able to mobilize some, regroup some NNP vote. But you see, Deacon Mitchell is still a likable person. You understand? And that is, and the NDC must, and I think is a make or break. It's good for the NDC party, but it could be complacent because some politician will depend only on Deacon to help win for them. You understand? Yeah, negative and positive. But Deacon Mitchell is still a likable person among the NDC. You understand? Still, he have his shortcoming. He making mistake. I always feel he not addressing the nation regular enough, and he must be taking everything for granted. But no, you must speak to the people, inform them. You can't treat them as they're not important. They don't have value. Important thing going on in this country. Talk to them about it. And that is the problem with politicians. When they reach a level, they get complacent and they become arrogant. And beating on you, I love Deacon Mitchell. I won't vote for him, but I have the highest respect for him. And I notice a level of arrogance that peeping out in Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. And notice that a little bit of trait of Kit Mitchell start popping out in Dickon Mitchell. He have to be careful. He have to be more humble and more meek and concerned. Talk to the Grenadian people. When last he addressed this nation? When last he addressed this nation? Not everybody like hard and straight talking. When last he addressed this nation, Grenada not in panic mode, you know, but they concern what is taking place around them and nobody informing them. They want to know if he say yes, he want to know if he say no, and how that will impact their life and the children's life down the road. Important piece, you will say nothing.
Let's get to that now, because you hinted that before, and I said we will get to it. Now, for those of you who are watching, you probably heard about a request that was sent to Grenada by the U.S. State Department. I did a few videos on it because we spoke about that difficulty of a yes or no, and what it means if it's a yes, because you're not dealing with a president that is, I think that you're not dealing with a president that is level-headed. You're dealing with someone, in my opinion, with a president who is petty, who is a bully, and that type of person. So you have to tread lightly. So that the answer, yes or no, is not an easy one. So what I said in my video was that you have to tread it very lightly. So I saw that the US sent a request to install a radar system at the Point Salina International Airport. That was not being, if the prime minister decision is yes or no at this point in time, we don't know, because that was not made clear in any public statement. So what do you think, KB, based on all that we know about Donald Trump, based on all that we saw what happened in Colombia, we saw what happened in other places, when he don't get away, what happens? Why the prime minister take that decision?
I am really in sympathy with Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. Why have that empathy for him and the Grenadian people and the wider Caribbean? We didn't bring that on ourselves. If Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell foreign policy had contradict his domestic policy, when he attend international forum, he bad talk and beat up on America. And when he returned home, depend on America for trade and aid and tourism, I'll say, look, it's good for him because his foreign policy contradict his domestic policy. But he did not make those mistakes. You understand? No way at all anybody could accuse Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, foreign policy contradicting his domestic policy. So this thing was forced on him. And it is a difficult decision to make, because the wider population, the Caribbean and the youth, is saying no at all costs. Some people saying, hey, we say no, what about sanction? Could we survive a sanction? You understand? Some people say, no, I was in a meeting and said, no, we eating breadfruit and callaloo. No, we're not complicit. We will not be complicit for genocide. You understand? We don't take in part in that. But it is a very difficult position Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell are in. I don't want to be a flea in Dickon Mitchell's shoe. But in my position, if you ask me what will be my position, I will tell him, say no. Because America don't go in Venezuela with a Bible and a candle, you know. They go in there with guns and bomb to slaughter, kill, and to control the oil. Now, if we accommodate them, you understand?
Well, hold on. No, that is your perception of what America is.
My perception. Right, my perception. Right? Okay, yeah. My perception. They're not going down there with no Bible and no candle. They're going down there to kill, to take out Maduro, slaughter people, and to control the oil. Now, If you give them permission and you aid and abet the American in committing genocide only, how it will look, how will you watch the Caribbean people, how you watch the young people. You just come out and shake Maduro hand in Venezuela last month. You give him permission this month to you giving them, you facilitating them to go to use your radar to one kill Maduro next month. Or you go look, you understand? He can't even, he just cannot say yes. And he should not say yes. I listen to Michael Battis' position. And I disagree with Michael, but I still have respect for him. Because he's saying, look, if you're going down there and kill, rape, or steal the oil, when you thief, give me $1 billion every year, give us free visit to America, buy all we fish and so on. I say, well, Mike, that took as a mercenary position, but at least that is the position. You feel if America, if we facilitating them and they're going down there to steal oil, they must give us some in the loot. We don't accept it, no shaken. You understand? No thanks.
But
because it's
with
bad
them.
name we get it.
You can't
It's
make a deal.
bad name, and
Yeah.
it's bad name we getting. And if Prime Minister had become facilitate them and they commit genocide on them, no amount of Pontius Pilate basin could wash his hand. He will be relegated to the dustbin of history. So let's look at it. We wondering why the church remains so silent and why some people, opposition, don't say nothing and people don't say nothing. And this is what those give, the aggressor room to do wrong things. Now, when the leaders of the revolution lost control of themselves, you understand? And they deviate from the correct path, you understand? And they start jailing people left, right, and center. The church say nothing. The governor say nothing. And one ask, if 3% of the Christian in our society who believe in Jesus Christ as a personal savior had stood up and say enough is enough, maybe the revolution would have stopped dead in its track and revert to a state of sanity, and Bishop and all of them could be alive today. But no, the Christian and the religious people mind their own business. They look the other way. They put the religion and the politics completely separate from one another and watch Grenada go to hell. Similar thing happened in Germany in 1938. Hitler's secret police, the SS and the SA, roamed the street in Germany, attacking Jewish people, mashing up the place, the business place, burning synagogue, carrying them to concentration camp. The Christian, again, who believe in Jesus Christ as a personal savior, stood idle by and watched this immorality commit before their eyes and watch Germany burn to the ground. Synagogue that had stood for thousands of years lay in ruin. The summer of that year, Hitler invited all the leading evangelical ministers to the right chancellery in Germany. His aim was to quiet their fears, give them the assurance that the church had nothing to fear from Adolf Hitler. A bright young evangelical pastor fought his way to the front until he watched Hitler eye to eye, eyeball to eyeball. And he said, Hitler, our fear is not for the church, because Jesus Christ always look after the church. Our soul is for the German people. Hitler said, no, leave it for me. They did that. He killed 6 million Jews. Niemöller went back to his church and preached night and day against the immorality and injustice committed against the Jewish people. He was arrested and brought before the Nazi people court. The judge was perplexed. He said, why can't you stop criticizing our Führer, the one and the only whom the German people owe unquestionable obedience? And the man, Niemöller said, no, I will not stop. I cannot stop. I would not tolerate injustice. He was The judge wanted to free him. He said, if only you could stop criticizing Mafura, I will let you go now and you'll go back to your church and free. He said, no, I will not stop. He was sent to Ostrich concentration camp. 1 year later, they found him with a piano wire noose around his neck. So it had to be. Brother Deacon Mitchell, stop, stand up for what is right, for what is justice, for what is godly all the time. If even you stand by yourself alone, you can't say yes to genocide. If
Right.
even it costs you your election, say no.
Right.
That's
But
my take on it.
we don't know if he's saying yes or if he's saying no, but we know that Peter David came out on a video and Peter David is saying the same thing that you're saying, that he should say no. But shouldn't, as a leader, you look at all the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, before you make a decision? You consult CARICOM, you consult everyone involved. You even have stakeholders engagement meeting, talk to the people, get feedback from the people before you make a decision, like say yes or no. So shouldn't it be exactly what
Right?
happened to get the buy-in from?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. But the worst thing for a leader to wait and to go along what plenty people see. That is a Pontius Pilate position. You do what is right and just and godly all the time, not what a lot of people say. You can take a Pontius Pilate position, you're waiting for what plenty people say. No, you can't take a Pontius Pilate position. You have to take a position that is right and just, and you must never be seen as a traitor to humanity. Evil is allowed to prevail when too much good people sit back and say nothing. That is a fact. You know, righteousness would absolve a nation, but sin is an offense to everyone. We should never condone and tolerate and agree with anybody to commit genocide. Because you see the mood now in this country and in the Caribbean is the same mood during the apartheid era, when the young people throughout the world rise up and put pressure on the government to abandon apartheid. It didn't happen by the government, you know, the youths of this country. Every young person you meet now say no. And I want to congratulate a lot of poor sisters who say, KB boy, I don't mind eating breadfruit. I don't mind eating caralo. I don't mind eating crab. No, don't let Trump come here and do what he want. Because they look at how he behaved with immigrants and black people in America. They look at how he behaved with the people in Gaza. And they are human beings. They are feeling. You understand? I understand what you want to say. Though. And I understand. That's what I tell you. I don't want to be a flea in Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell shoe. Because he have, as a leader, he has certain road you have to work for yourself. Eh? Nobody will work this road for you. Understand all of that. At the end of the day, he had to pay salary, not KB. Understand? I understand that. I understand that. And he may say, all right, in the best interest of Grenada, I would tell America yes. But I don't believe, knowing Deacon Mitchell, he don't look like a worthless man. He don't look like a vindictive man. He don't look like somebody who will agree, who want to participate in genocide. He don't look so. But this thing is forced on him. I don't know if he could sleep in the night. He have an important decision to make. Because if he say yes to the American, the younger generation would not forgive him. And if he say no to the American, he had to prepare for sanction. So that's why I tell you, I don't want to be a flea in his shoe. I'm very sympathetic with him. I understand it's not an easy decision to make. But longer he stay and don't addressing it and talking to these people, just informing them the stage and negotiation and what is it the American want. I can tell you what he want, We don't know what is it they request. We just saying, we just hear they want military asset to be installed here. We don't know how much people they want to put here to monitor this thing. We don't know the quality. We Grenadians still speculating because the leaders of this country ain't saying nothing. You don't hear nothing from the little Mitchell. You don't hear nothing from the big Mitchell. You understand? All of them tightly. You understand? All of them tightly. And the Grenadian people asking for answer. Tell us, inform us, tell us the stage of negotiation. Tell us what you're doing because we concerned. Because whatever decision you make will have negative or positive impact on this country for a long, long time. So you can say that you're not with business, you in government, you're doing what you want. No, we want to know. We're not in panic mode, but we're concerned. And this is addressed.
Do you think that Trinidad position to allow Donald Trump to use Trinidad as a part of, I mean, Trinidad is like an ally to the United States in the Caribbean. They're doing a lot through Trinidad. Do you think that is the right posturing for Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister?
Well, I don't want to speak for Trinidad. Trinidad, political situation different. The quality are different. Everything different. They're close to Venezuela. Trinidad is a kind of failed state. So I think Kamler don't mind more solely as he have and more American president, maybe that would help it. That Trinidad is a kind of failed state. Everybody living behind burglar proof and behind galvanized. They're different. They're different. Every Grenadian is a police. Grenada is a peaceful place. Grenada don't want to involve in no kind of war anymore, but participate in any killing or condone any country that will use their country to one. I mean, we're doing as if we don't know what America.
All right. I'm not sure if we lost KB there. Try to reconnect. So long conversation there with KB, guys. We open up the phone lines to get your perspective on what you heard thus far. A lot said. 718-701-5720 is our number. You can call on the WhatsApp and you could call straight. KB, you there?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Before we go, I would really like us to deal with the next area we had to touch on is Heroes Day. So we have enough time to do Heroes Day?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Good.
Someone was saying in the chat, we'll get to Heroes Day, but someone was saying in the chat that this is why this is a decision that you don't rush, a decision that you have to take time. So that's what someone was saying there in the chat. Let's go to Heroes Day. It was celebrated this year on Monday in Heroes Park, which I went to that venue, KB, and I thought it was an excellent venue. I think this Heroes Park is going to be a really nice venue for so many different things. What's your take on Heroes Day and the celebration this year?
Who are the heroes?
I don't know.
Well, how you could celebrate Hero Day and you don't have hero? What sense that make? You see, my problem is that they shame to tell the young people the hero is Maurice Bishop and Eric Matthew Gill. That is the hero. Who you think they have on the $50 bill? Is Eric Matthew Geary and Maurice Bishop, the two worst violators of human rights in this country. That is the hero, but a shame to tell people. You can say you're celebrating Hero Day and you don't have hero. What sense it make? Why they have these two people name on the $50 bill? And when you say KBP stuff, you're right, The most worthless red man in that leader that passed in Grenada, Carrico, and Peter Matnick was Maurice Bishop. He was by far the most worthless man that passed. You understand? I don't know how people could still want to worship him and praise him and say he's a good man, like some angel that came from the heaven, spotless and sinless. And Code and his 17 were the devil that came from the bottomless pit. What an agnostic myth. Look at this man history. I want 5 minutes to, to, to convince some of my friends why Bishop should not be on that $50 bill. Why should he not be seen as a hero? This man jailed 3,013 political detainees. He signed the detention order without charge, without trial. Over 150 rastas, he put in a capital in Hooper. He closed down every newspaper in this country. He banned every political party in the country. You understand? Tillman Thomas, Leslie Pierre, and Lydwell decide they're going to print a legally registered newspaper. He jailed all of them for that. You understand? This man, from the kind of crime Bishop regime commit when you fight a revolution, is to make what was wrong right, not to make what was wrong more wrong. That is not it. Some of the crimes you're wondering, how can a Christian society in this modern day and age degenerate into a state of barbarism, and no one who believes in Jesus Christ as the personal savior stood up and says enough? Right along. One day we were in prison. Justin Roberts came and took a young man from his prison cell, named Pascal from Montreal, tortured that man for the whole night and brought him back in the prison with blood oozing from his anus. The Castor Bola, Arimbola brother, who is superintendent in the prison, enter it in the prison diary in red, fearing that the man will die. So let me tell you, Bishop Signatures came to the prison in the morning. Winston White, Tillman Thomas, Leslie Pierre, D'Souza, Jerry Romain pointed out that to the bishop. All he say, he go look into it. One day, I saw Officer Lombard with a crib in the prison. I say, Officer Lombard, somebody make child in jail. He's smiling. Only to realize, a woman from Montreal called Miss Annis. They arrest her with a 2-month-old baby and a 3-year-old child. They keep Miss Annis for 3 years in jail. They keep the little baby for 3 years in jail. They keep the little child for 3 years in jail. And Bishop and Code get a pastor to christen the child in jail. I say, nah, something don't right. How can a Christian society in just 4.5 years degenerate into a state of barbarism? And nobody do saying enough is enough. So that if you think those, statement I made here is bad and it shock you, let me give you the worst one. Mount Royal was used as a torture chamber for the revolution. Some men was tortured so bad, they faint on the torture table. The palm of the hand was burnt out with fire. Under the sole of the feet was burnt out with fire. All over the body with marks, with shocks all over the body. They shock them in the anus. They shock them in the testicles. They faint. They send to call a doctor who lives in America now, Dr. Roland Puzzle. I hope you know his number and you know where he lives. So you could go and visit him and ask him. When he enter and he see the men on the floor in that condition, he use the F word. He say, F, these people are human beings. How could you all treat people like that? Take them to the hospital. Bobby Clark, who was overseeing the torture, turned to Dr. Roland Puzzle and said, no, we cannot allow the people to see them. They will have to stay here and die. Today, you have Bishop face on the $50 bill and say he's hero. We were in prison, me and Tillman Thomas and them. We always hear Bishop saying, if you touch Nicaragua, you touch Grenada, you touch Cuba, you touch Grenada. We thought was joking money making. When the Sandinista guerrilla, led by Eden Pastora, attacked the Sandinista guerrilla coming from the Honduras border, the Contras and them, Bishop turn around and give us 100 days lock up in cell without sunshine. They take away books. They feed
Yeah.
us with bread and butter in the morning, bread and butter like a cat in the evening. Tillman Thomas get white in cell. Winston White get white in cell. I could make it. But I watch these fellas online well because they don't get sunshine. 100 days lock up in cell without sunshine. Today you telling me Bishop is a hero. Bishop is the most worthless red man that passed in the whole of Greater Carrico and Petit Martinique. I don't know why. Why are you lying the poor people children and say the man is a good man? Well, what make him good?
All right, keep
The
hold on
man,
a second.
listen,
Oh, just take a pin for a quick second because I lost internet for a while. I was off camera. A large part of what you said, I didn't even hear it because I lost internet there for a while. So a lot. Again, I didn't. I'm joining the conversation back in here right now. So let me just kind of
tell
put
me,
some.
tell me where what I miss.
No, well, I don't want you to go back because the audience already heard it, and
Okay,
I
okay,
don't want to
okay.
have to.
Once the audience heard it is okay.
So
Yeah, but
I
for
don't.
Gary, now,
Yeah.
they have Gary also was one of the worst violators of human rights in this country. I just can't get it. You understand? Gary invited most of the worst criminals down in his home in Montreal to recruit them as secret police. A young guy came, he want work. Somebody told uncle, hey, this man look as a jewel, you know. Gary's prime minister, you know. He jumped and he started to cough up the man in the head, beat up the man. The Mongoose gang even him and start beating the man. The man run for his life. You know, Gary go on the radio the next morning and start to kicks and say he never see a man run so fast in his life. You understand? No, you don't understand. How could Uncle Gary in his right mind select these kind of people to be policed? Willie Bishop, 19 conviction. Raphael Brizan, Elias Buck, 20 conviction. Kingston Baptiste from Guave, the Worm, 25 conviction. Noral Bell from Talboy from Samaritan, 34 conviction. Thaddeus Jones, Elias Bodiba from Bylands, 20 conviction.
Welcome. Dial pad
Bobot
meeting.
from Moya, Bobot from Moya, 28 conviction. John Joseph Mack, the Leech Junk to Puke, 15 conviction. Redhead Hercules, 30 conviction. Ivan John, 26 conviction. Albert Clark heads the Mongoose gang, 15 conviction. How could a right prime minister with his right sense pick these people, you understand, to be policed? Bishop and them went to Grenville to hold meeting. These people beat Bishop and them in broad daylight with sticks and wood. Break up Bishop Jack. Keep him in the cell for the whole night. The morning, they brought him in court. Ben Jones and Nightwell stood up and asked for bail. I don't can say, all of us in court, but we shocked. I don't can say bail. We don't deal with no lie inside here today, you know. In jail, they go in, you don't lie in the courthouse here today. That is how Gary brought the police and the court in this disrepute. How you could have Gary as hero? Look, in St. David's, they arrest Joseph Granger. You understand? And a couple people, you know, Eric Campbell, beat them and torture them with iron, wood, put rope around them neck, and flush one of them head in a toilet. Gospel beg and beg was from a corruption and die now. Beg them to leave them men alone. Men remain in cell, wounded for the whole night. When you pick these kind of people, you know, how you could ask Gary, because the opposition voice, you can hear them on radio. He banned that. No opposition voice on the national radio station. You can have loudspeaker. You have Gary as hero. Well, best you put Morris, best you put Kit Mitchell and Kirani James. I would accept that. But not these two worthless people.
But
Sorry, the mailbox
the
is full
heroes.
and there is not
Sorry,
enough
hold on.
space to leave a message.
Hold on. The heroes was not
Goodbye.
announced. The heroes have not yet been announced. I was trying to get a call in. Yeah, the heroes have not yet been announced. Last we heard of who will be announced as heroes, I think the Prime Minister said that it would be something that would be discussed in Parliament. They have to figure out if it's people that are alive, that are dead, and that would be announced. So that has not been finalized.
Yeah, but what they face doing on the $50 bill?
Right.
They been not hero, but you had a face on $50 bill. Who you fooling? What they face best when they put Kit Mitchell and Kirani James. Because Kit Mitchell is, I could say, is a nice worthless man, but he is a saint to Bishop and Gary. Kit Mitchell is a saint to Bishop and Gary. Yes, he was corrupt. But where worthlessness is concerned, Kit Mitchell is a saint to Gary and Bishop. Why you had a name on the $50 bill, giving the public or the youthful population them is some kind of hero? When they were the worst violator of human rights in this country, why lying to the young people of this country? Why trying to distort the history of this country? Morris Bishop and Gary's hero. What yardstick I use?
Let's take a quick call, Kobe. A lot of people want to chime in here.
Let me call.
Got a call. Caller, like, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Grenville, man, from Grenada, man.
Grenville, go right ahead.
Yeah. KB.
Hello?
Michael Batiste on the phone line. Hold on. You come right after Michael. Stand by. Go ahead, caller on the WhatsApp.
KB, I wanna get in touch with you, man. I need you to call me.
All right. I'll call you.
He'll call you. I'll share the number with KB. You want to say anything else, caller?
No, KB. You know we did, man. Blair,
I know Blair. I'll call you, Blair.
He say he'll call you.
I want to talk to you. I need you to call me, right?
Okay, he'll call you. He can't.
All right, Blair, I'll call you.
Can't hear him, but he'll say he'll call you. Okay. All right, Blair. All right, thank you. All right, we got another caller on the phone line. I believe it's might be an interesting conversation to have right now. Caller on the phone line, go right ahead. Could you hear me?
Yes, of course I can hear you.
All right, how you doing, sir?
Hello?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I am on top of the world.
Nice. Song like Michael Batiste. How are you doing? Yes, Michael Batiste, KB, Michael Batiste. Go ahead, Michael. We're listening.
Are you here? Good night, my dear brother KB. How you doing?
Good, great, man. Great. It's good hearing you, man.
Good. Boy, I've heard you unpack so much there tonight. You unpack so much. And of course, you mentioned the late Eric Gary and Bishop on the $50 anniversary note. I too had some problem with Bishop, but my problem is a little different from yours because I felt that Bishop was not even a member of Parliament in 1974. He got elected in 76. He tried to disrupt our elections, and you have mentioned something like that. So I am in agreement with you on different reasons that he shouldn't be there. But let's go back to one of the substantive points that you've been making here tonight about saying no to the Americans. All right, let's say we say no, KB. I want to ask you, and I know that you're someone who's not afraid to shoot. Can Grenada survive the United States sanctions? And I'm saying so because presently we have a fish ban coming January 1, when our fish would no longer be able to get into the United States. You're talking about $30 million from coastal villages that income would be lost. You're looking at our post office right now. Our people in Munich and Sobeys can ship the farine and the CMOS, and the farmers can ship the shadow benny and the whatnot in packages and boxes to the post office as we speak, and that have to be regularized. We're looking at SGU, and there have been concerns that many students graduating from SGU have been having problems getting visas to go to the United States to do their internship. And then we're looking at overall visa restrictions on Grenadians, especially our young people who are trying to get to the United States to study, to get off the ground, to go on vacation, and to help themselves. I'm sure you remember Nazim Bok as finance minister. And I'm sure you remember that he paid late once. The Grenadian people never forgive him for that. As a matter of fact, the NNP went on to give the NDC 215-0 as a result of that one little incident with Nazim Bok paying late. I'm wondering, KB, at the end of the month, when civil servants push their card in the ATM and they do not get the income because of hardship as a result of the sanction that's brought upon us, do you honestly believe that Grenadians will look at the government in a favorably way, KB? You look at remittances. Every Grenadian has a family member in the United States. On a mountain, you see long lines of Western Union MoneyGram collected from the United States. I heard a former priest, and he's talking about he will do everything in his power to bring down this government. If they say yes, but every time he head hurt him, he had for I remember maybe after before the intervention, of course, the United States, I couldn't dare enter Grenada. I heard the slogan, I heard it. We go bury them in the sea, we go let them up, we go bury them in the sea, we go bury them. As soon as that revolution collapsed, I see all of those so-called revolutionary on Nostrand Avenue, KB. It's a land. They didn't go Venezuela, they didn't go Cuba, they didn't go Russia. They to the United States. And finally, Venezuela, I heard some leaders in the Caribbean talking about zone of peace. And I'm wondering, what peace are they talking about? Can you tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago that they are living in peace with kidnappers and gunmen, murders daily in the streets? How could you talk about peace when Guyana went to the international court, took Venezuela to court, won, and Venezuela was amassing troops on Guyana border to invade them? I did not hear the Caribbean leaders, those hypocrites, talking about zone of peace, KB.
Well, they did. St. Vincent Prime Minister Rob Gonzalez had a summit in Argyle where they signed an agreement in Argyle, the Argyle Agreement in Venezuela and Guyana. The both Prime Minister, President was there, and it was signed in Argyle, St. Vincent. So CARICOM did show
Okay,
up.
well, they may have said something, but I didn't hear no zone of peace. Now our Sobeys fishermen are, it's a normal thing for Venezuelan Coast Guard to board their vessels, steal their fish, take their equipment, and terrorize them with the high seas. Venezuela, Iran, and North Korea are three countries in the world that have not signed on to UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention with the Laws of the Sea. Venezuela have problems with all the neighbors: Brazil, Suriname, Belize, Guyana, Grenada, Dominica. They're claiming Bird Island of Dominica. From since 1974, when we attained independence, Uncle Gary has been trying desperately to get Venezuela to come to the table to establish our maritime boundaries so we could establish our exclusive economic zone. Because of Petro-Caribbean, we are forsaking our national asset. We are allowing Venezuela to give us oil and credit. But Venezuela is the biggest violator of our sovereignty. Trinidad, yeah, we have to negotiate with Venezuela. So, let me stop here. I want to give KB time to respond, but there's a lot more. And KB, you and I think you and I are the only two people that I know that voice opinions in an emotional way on such national issues. That's why I love you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ridealong, Michael Baptist, Mickey Kiss. We understand the danger of sanction. But we should never allow no superpower to hold us to ransom, and force us to condone genocide or to be a traitor to humanity. I understand the problem with sanction. Even the leaders of the revolution was afraid of sanction. You understand? But that case was different. I remember I was in the barracks on the airport. Bishop called me and he said, KB, go and arrest Dr. Stanley Cyrus. He's a CIA agent from Grenville, and bring him to St. George's. I said to Bishop, I ain't doing that, the man is friend, I ain't carrying that orders. He said, all right, get somebody. Take Dr. Stanley Cyrus, bring him in headquarters, keep him there for a week. The man is an American citizen who lectured in a university in America. State Department wrote Morris and tell him, look, this man is an American citizen. You have no charges against this man. This man is not a CIA agent. We ask you to immediately release this man. Otherwise, we'll put sanction on you. Close the university, the St. George's University. Direct every tourist away from your show. For the first time, I saw Bishop and Code shake in their pants. The next day, they released Stanley Cyrus. And as Michael Baptist was saying, KB and them still was singing, let they come, we go bury them in the sea. He was still singing that. But we all conscious of the fact that ants cannot fight with elephant. We know that. But that doesn't mean we have to condone and be complicit with America to commit genocide. Michael Baptist, I understand all what you're saying. We understand how dangerous is sanction. And I agree. A lot of people, when they get paid, they would not go to work. Imagine that. Some of these same secret police who used to beat for Gary, kill for Gary. One Friday, they go to Grenville for the pay. And the police tell them, look, hey, money don't come up. They stoned down the police station that Friday. Police remain hide below the bed in the police station for the whole day. They can't come outside. The same police, the same secret police that bad for uncle. They don't get pay. They stone down the station. We understand all of that. When people don't get paid, they go react. But still, that doesn't mean it is right for we to side with the American, facilitate them to commit genocide. Because I'll tell you, it will be we will be seen as traitor to humanity. And you're talking about international law. America is the worst violator of international law. Michael Baptist, the worst. They're still looking for nuclear weapon in Iraq after 30 years, not a box of matches they get.
Well, you see, KB, and I think that is based on what Michael Baptiste said, and based on what you say now. It even compounds the fact of the difficulty of that decision, which means that if there is a difficult decision to be made, you have to consider it thoroughly. It's not something that you jump to conclusion. It's not something that you jump and you just say. Like I heard Peter speaking out boldly about it. But did Peter get enough time to analyze everything? If that is the case, right? Did he take sufficient time to consult, to come up with a full understanding of the pros and the cons before he said what he said? So we should appreciate the fact that the prime minister is taking a time to analyze everything.
I agree with that. What I'm saying, we should be brief on different stage and negotiation. We should be informed, but ignoring us in a crisis like that when everybody is concerned. I agree you should take your time. I agree it's a complicated issue. I said before, I don't want to be a flea in the Can Mitchell show. Because in my opinion, if he say no to the American, the youthful population will turn against him. And if he say yes to the American, the youthful population will turn against him. And if he say no, he have to prepare for sanction. So he like in a no-win situation. But he must do the right thing, in my opinion. The right thing is to say no, and he must stand for what is right, what is just, what is godly all the time. In that decision, when he making that decision, he cannot leave God as some kind of discarded old shoe out of the room in front of the door. He have to always think about human life and take that decision that will be pleasing to God. He cannot agree to facilitate America, and America would not go down in Venezuela with no Bible and candle. They're going there with bombs and gun to steal, to kill, and to thief the people out. How you could agree with that? And say, afraid sanction. So I agree with him for you to do that. Michael Baptist, they are mercenary position.
Right. Listen, we had a lot said. Wow, we are almost going up to 2 hours now of programming time, so we have to kind of break it down, cut it here for today. Wow, KB, I think tomorrow we will really hear and learn how significant this program was today. I think you said a whole lot, Michael. You really gave off a lot of information. And every time you come on the program, we could expect nothing less of Michael, of Kennedy Budlal, I should say. Any last thing you want to say before we wrap up, Kennedy?
The last thing I want to say is that whatever decision the prime minister, take, don't get mad with him. It's a difficult situation. I want him to say yes. I feel yes is the right, position he should take. Even
you want him to say yes or you want him to say no?
I want him to say no to the American.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I want him to say no to the American. But if he say yes, I would not, come out hard on him. I will understand. You understand? Because it's a difficult position. And he should never put his narrow, selfish, political interest first. He shouldn't do that. Do what is right and what is just and what is godly all the time. And don't go along with what plenty people say. Don't take no punchy spirit position. Do what is right. And I know what is right, it should be no. That is my take on it.
Thank you so much, KB. Wow. Well, keep in touch, my brother. And I'm in Grenada, KB, so we have to knock a
Oh,
glass.
all right. Give me a call.
Yeah. We'll keep in touch, all right?
All right. Take
Thanks
care of the
again.
best.
Yeah. So that was KB, guys. Kennedy Budlal. A whole lot to say. Let me take a quick break and we'll be right back. You're watching Ride Along Live. Phone lines open up. So call in right now. We'll be back.
The sun is hot, the breeze is low. I need a ride. Where do I go? Ride, go, yeah. That's the name. Island roads will never feel the same. Tap the app, just one click, hopping fast. It's real quick. Ride, go. Where you wanna go? To the beach, to the street, let the island flow. Ride, go, let the good vibes show. Fastest growing ride, everybody know.
Tuk Tuk now available on Ride Go. Book now.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or
Hi, I want $10 on Playway, $20 backup on Pick 3, and cash for each, please.
Okay, are you adding multi-X to your bet?
Yes, multi-X, all of them.
Smart! Best value bet. Backup and multi-X, you cannot go wrong.
Don't matter the bet, multi-X all of the daily games.
With multi-X added, your winnings can be multiplied 3 times, 5 times, even 7 times. So make it a rule. Add multi-X to all your Playway, daily pick 3, and daily cash for bets every day and for every drop, and watch your money grow. Available at stores and online.
You heard it here. Multiply your winnings daily. Must be 18 or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
All right, guys. Where is my music? Where is my music? There we go. Yeah. All right, guys. So right along. So there you go. You heard it here for yourself. What's your thoughts? What do you think about Kennedy Budlal conversation here today? Let's open the phone lines. 1-870-15720 is my number. You can call on WhatsApp or you can call straight. Someone sent me a message and they said that, Junior, I would like to see the following. I would like to see this following persons on your live: Kennedy Budlal, Chester Humphrey, Kenny Lyle Singh, Michael Matisse, Kilman Thomas, Graham Folks, and Dr. Terrence Marishow. Seems like a well-packed show. Yeah, we can make it happen. Make that happen. We can make that happen. Let's go to the phone line right now. Call it live. Where are you calling us from? What's your thoughts?
Calling from St. Andrews.
The Andrews, go right ahead.
One question. Why is it that when KB talk about Gary, Michael Baptiste had been saying so much a nice thing about Gary, and KB says so much a bad thing about Gary, and up to now Michael Baptiste don't condemn one thing. I want to know why. That's my question tonight.
Okay, all right. Well taken. All right, cool. All right, caller. Hopefully Michael Baptiste may call back and answer the questions. Okay, thanks for calling. Another caller on the phone line. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from? Hold on 1 second. Let me just turn down my music. Wait. 1 second, Grenada. 1 second. Grenada, go right ahead. Yes.
Yes, I'm in full support of the gentleman who was just speaking on all the points he he has brought across. Reason being, I'm very disappointed in the Prime Minister also, because in this news of the US asking to use our airport for radar installation and personnel, it was not broken by our local media, but yet Caribbean something. But it was very disappointing to know that it was that request was somewhere quite up in August, and we, the people, found out late in October. So this is very disappointing as a citizen of Grenada to know that the Prime Minister was not transparent in briefing the people on such a major event that could possibly cause Grenada harm in ever which way he answers. But I believe the Prime Minister should say no, reason being because nobody given the risk of saying yes, they're only talking about sanction. But if we host the radar and personnel, we could potentially be a target of Venezuela. So nobody is so they're thinking about sanction, but sanction is one. But what about if you host such equipment and you're being bombed at the ending of the day? Which one is more important, life or sanction?
Right, but do you
so I think the
appreciate?
Prime Minister has.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah. It is very frustrating as a citizen of the country that the Prime Minister didn't brief the people. Only enough, he didn't have to give the American an answer. What he had was to give the people a reasonable response instead of coming out with, in my opinion, was not transparent at all.
Okay. Point well taken, caller. We appreciate you. Thanks for your input.
Yeah.
All right. 718-701-5720 is my number. You could call in live. I saw some folks saying that the music turned it off. I don't know if you guys still hearing the music. But the music is off right now. All right. So again, you could call on the phone lines or you could call straight 718-701-5720. Wow, look at time. We are way past broadcast time already. So we don't have much time, guys. So if you have to call in real quick, okay? And while we calling in, I want to tell you guys a little bit about Ride Go. Where is the Ride Go? Right, guys. So I don't know if you guys been hearing about this. I've been speaking about this for the past month or so. We just launched a ride share, right? And it's called Ride Go. A ride share, you want to get from point A to point B. You want to go to town. You want to go to Grenville. You need a taxi to pick you up right in your home. You download the app and you request a car, and they come straight to your home and pick you up, right? But you got to download the app. It's really cool. In fact, if you don't live in Grenada, if you live in the United States or in England or Canada, wherever, and you have a family member in Grenada, you could contact them. You could get a taxi for them as well. I see my internet blinking, so my internet might go off in any minute now, right? So I think we have to shut off because my internet is blinking. I think, guys, you know what? Let me close it off here. Let me close it off here because my internet is blinking red, and I know it's going to shut off the program. So let me cut off the program here, guys. I have to say good night and thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Good night.